This is the 2024 GMC Canyon AT4X. It's a mouthful. Is it the ultimate mid-size truck? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today, Carrie and I have borrowed this model from our friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And obviously, we're going to tell you all about it and give you the information to answer that question phrased in the title of the video. If you want to know more about it, check out the link down in the description of the video. And obviously this truck is going to have a lot of additions compared to any other model you can buy across the lineup of the Canyon for 2024. Let's see what some of those features are. And right down here, we're going to start off with our red tow hooks concealed away. You wouldn't even know they were there if you didn't get way down and take a look. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It'd be kind of nice to be able to see those a little bit better, but whatever, that's the way they are. Maybe some people like having those kind of tucked away like that. And as we look here across the front end, we'll just show you what's here with our turn signal indicators, your daytime running lights, and your headlights right here. Now, I think there's an advantage to this in that not only with your turn signal indicator coming and taking a break, and then it picks back up within the headlight housing area right here, but the headlights being this low on the front end will help even more with your driving after dark, whether you're on road or off. You also have your fog lights right here. So kind of an interesting thing. I like that. I think that's a good thing. We'll have our forward-facing camera right here. One thing that's missing on that, do you know what it is? There's no camera washer, no front camera washer. A little surprised at that at this price point. GMC logo in red, our AT4X logo. And of course, you've got your grille here that's going to have that nice finish on it. It's going to really set that apart. 10.7 inches of ground clearance. That is going to help you get over a lot of obstacles. Let's talk about what else will help you with that. Your all-terrain tires here, we'll give you the numbers on that as Carrie shows you. I'll get out of the way to make that a little bit easier. We're looking at 285 on the width, a 70 series sidewall, and that's going to be wrapped around the 17-inch wheels. Very nice. I think that fits really well. One thing that I think is missing here, we were talking about this earlier, this is a great looking truck, but what would make it look more aggressive would be to have something such as maybe heat extractors here on the hood that just really breaks things up. I'd rather have something that's functional than not, but even just something that's here as a faux vent, so to speak, I don't know, it just seems like there's just something missing from the hood right there. But overall, I do like the design of the hood. And we work our way up here to our side view mirrors. You're gonna have your gloss black mirror caps. You will obviously have cameras built in. There are cameras literally all over this truck for every single situation. They're power adjustable, they are manually folding, and you do have your blind spot monitoring built in. Speaking of that, let's take a quick look at the remote. You can see what all is there for those of you who are interested in knowing. There's your GMC logo on the back. And in case you missed it, you do have that feature that so many of you are seeking, remote start. AT4X logo again here on the side. I think that's very well placed. But something that's interesting here, kind of a pro and a con, so to speak, and that has to do with our assist steps right here. That eliminates some of that ride height when you have these on here. So depending on where you're going, well, you might need that extra ground clearance that's now taken up by your assist steps right here. However, there is a big advantage. You can park wherever you want to because it is impossible to get door dings unless somebody's vehicle is super high up, because the doors are going to hit the steps before they're going to hit your doors. That's a plus. Also going to have our passive entry button right there. When you have that remote in your possession, you walk up to the truck, you can push that button to lock or unlock the truck. Makes it very simplistic, easy to deal with. And here's something that might surprise a lot of people you don't see all the time anymore, a pinstripe. That's kind of an old school thing, but you know what? I think it works. It would be nice if maybe it was in red instead of black. I don't know, tell me what your thoughts are on that. And we finish things off here, we're gonna have our tail lights right here, the LED tail lights. That's going to look nice. GMC logo with our Canyon logo, and obviously the AT4X logo. So as far as that goes, that's a good thing. It's also a good thing to know what's under the hood. When I tell you what it is, you might think it's gonna be low on horsepower, but it's not. If you happen to be cross-shopping between the Chevrolet Colorado and the GMC Canyon, there is going to be a difference as far as power output goes. With the Colorado, you get two different options for your horsepower and torque as far as what the engines put out. Here, you're only going to have the high output. 2.7 liter four-cylinder is what we're going to have here. It is turbocharged, but it makes a surprising amount of power, 310. The torque numbers, I believe, are even more impressive at 430 pounds-feet, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And we'll work our way around here to the passenger side window so I can tell you, and we'll show you what we have with our gas mileage details. And all I have to do is tell you 17, because that's what it basically is. 17 city, 17 highway, 17 combined. I'm surprised it's not 17 gallons per every 100 miles driven. Boy, that would be bad news, wouldn't it? Or maybe 1.7. But one more thing I want to tell you about here. Let me make sure that I'm giving you the right information, because sometimes the old memory doesn't work the way it should. Let's just show you one of the tricks of the trade. Sometimes we have to look at our notes as we work our way through the videos. Here is your capless fuel fill for your gas tank. And if you're wondering how big the gas tank is, 21.4 gallons. What do you think about that? Do you think it should be larger? And for those of you who are saying, well, Tom, you told us what's under the hood. How about an exhaust clip? Okay, here you go. Okay, let's take a look at what we have with capabilities here. And first of all, I want to talk about, well, let's do payload first. We'll go that way. Do this in a proper order. 1,000 up to 1,600 pounds, depending on how the truck is equipped. So let's go over what we have here. Obviously, you have your bed liner here. Your AT4X logo is going to be up there in the front of the bed. We're going to have a total of 8 tie downs. So you're going to have 2 in the front, 2 in the rear on each side. So that's going to be helpful as well. And also have a power outlet right here. The only thing that's missing from this bed is any kind of in-bed lighting, the same way as the 2500s, the HDs, and the 1500s, and all those trucks have, the Sierras. Kind of wondering why that's not here. And we'll also have the storage in the tailgate right here, as you can see. Now this area is airtight, and so you can actually put ice in here and ice down some drinks and snacks and whatever the case is with that. This is actually a drain plug right here, so when everything melts down, you can pull that out and close this area up, put the tailgate in its upright position, and you're good to go on draining that out. So it's very useful. How about towing capabilities? Well, depending on what you go with, if you go AT4X, you're not going to be able to tow the max of this truck's capability, which is 7,700 pounds. It's actually 6,000 pounds. And it has to do with the lift and all of the additions that make this truck so capable off-road. We're gonna let Carrie show you some of the shocks that we have back here, the suspension, everything that we can show you as best as possible. A very capable off-road truck. It's not just for looks. You also have the larger fender flares that come out a little bit further here. That allows you to put a lot more tire and wheel underneath here, or should I just say tire more than anything else. So if you want a taller tire, a larger tire, you can put that in there, not a problem. But if you're interested in those max towing numbers, it's just something to think about with these trucks. But I think most people who are into the off-roading portion of things probably know that. And here we go with the back seat. Obsidian Rush is what GMC calls this interior, and you're gonna find quite a contrast here between the black, the white, and the red. I really like those seat belts. There's a lot going on here. There's a couple of places where I'd like to see some additions. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but let's talk about the door panel first. When you put your arm up there, it's kind of interesting because there is a lot of space, but the way this front portion, this white area comes up, it kind of interrupts my hand being there. Yeah, Carrie's kind of giving that a thumbs down. I don't know, to me that just doesn't work. That really should be more flat and consistent with where the button is for controlling the windows. So, I don't know, just something, I guess if you have a really small forearm, or maybe you just keep your hand up like that, that might work. But Overall, I do like the design here. The only thing I would like to see change on the door panels, that area that's angled right there with that black stitching, I wouldn't even call that contrast black, it's just black. That needs to be red or even white. It would just match so much better with what we have on the back of the seats right here. Now you do, finishing things off, do have a bottle holder right here. That's too small, I think, to call a door bin. But the good news is that you can put a nice large bottle in there. This is the truck that's perfect for taking your friends to the gym. If you're going to be working out, put your protein powder in there, your blender bottles, and then everybody can just shake those up after you finish your workouts. It fits, unless you have a really giant bottle. And here we're gonna have some storage as far as the rear seat pockets go. And I don't know how easy it's gonna be for Kerry to show you from where he is, but on the back of the seats, you have to move the seat belt out of the way a little bit. There's a release right there. And when you pull on that, here's what happens. You can raise the seat cushion up. And so you can do both sides, kind of hard to do one-handed. In fact, let's see if we can do that. I think if we can do this together, we might be able to. There we go. We'll just work as a team. That's how it should work. And we'll show you what's here. Now, here are all of your tools to change your tire. You do have a full-size spare tire located underneath the truck. In the back, that conventional area for most trucks. Technically, you could put a little bit of space or use a little bit of this space for some extra storage. Not a lot necessarily, but there is some there. And to lower the seats, we're gonna have to do the same thing. We're gonna have to use that lever again. So we'll do that one more time right here. And I'm going to hop into the truck. Yeah, there's something missing there. I knew it was up there. I'm just showing you that I'm a little surprised at the lack of grab handles. You don't have anything in this area. It's not that it's the end of the world to use what I like to refer to as the oh crap handle right here. But we're so used to reaching up here. It's almost a natural thing to do. So kind of surprised that's not there. What's missing back here? There should be maybe some white, maybe some of the red on these seat backs. I think that would really finish things off. And here's why I say that. Kerry can show you over this area into the front seat. See how you have that on the dash area? I think that this should match to a great degree back here on the seat backs. Just one of those things. It's not the end of the world. I'm not necessarily sounding the gong on it, but for me, that's just a missed opportunity. Tell me what you think about that. And something else that's interesting here. If I was going to sound the gong on something, it would be this. You need some kind of a tab right here where you can pull this armrest down with the cup holders built in. You have to really jam your fingers up inside of that area to get that to come down. Again, probably not a big deal. I don't think anybody's going to say, I'm not buying that Canyon because that rear armrest is too hard to get down, unless you have Andre the Giant size hands or something along those lines. Cup holders right here, that will get the job done. Obviously, you have multiple places for cups and bottles back here. Also, your rear air conditioning vents, that will make everybody happy. Also, a couple of different options for USB connectivity, as well as another power outlet right there. The one thing that I think is missing here, when I look up here, all I see is roof. I do have a good bit of headroom, but I really think if GMC was ever going to put a panoramic sunroof in something where they should have, but they didn't, I think it's here. You do have your conventional size sunroof up there. Just one of those things. For rear seat passengers, I think that would be a lot more meaningful, but then again, most people may not be that concerned about it. And I will show you too that you have the rear window right here. It's manual, it's not power, but for a lot of people, they'd say, well, that's a good thing because that's one less thing to break. For those of you who are wondering about the price, now you might have noticed that there was an addendum sticker there. Don't let that scare you away because it's roughly a $1,000 markup. We've seen at other dealerships, we're not going to name them, but as much as a $10,000 markup with an addendum. That's ridiculous, by the way. So what do you get for $59,379.95? By the way, if you come to buy this truck, I will give you the 95 cents so you can get over the hump. But the added features that you have here, number one, you're going to have your tire warranty. You're going to have Auto Guard that protects the paint, and you're also going to have the pinstripe that we talked about earlier on the exterior. I think I showed that to y'all. I said that should be red instead of black. Well, whatever you want to think about that. But let's take a look at what we have. Let's go to the door panel there. And with this door panel, you have a little bit more space with the armrest. So that area in the front isn't as much of a problem, even though it's the same way. It's a little bit easier to deal with because you can put your arm further back, but I still wish that GMC would drop the height of that area down to match the height of everything else there. It looks nice, but it's just not very functional. Same thing as far as the design here goes, but you also have an upper door panel, or door bin, I should say. Not a lot of space there, but you know what? It's some additional space. Again, you've got that space for your blender bottles when you and your buddies head to the gym with your tough-looking truck and you get out with all those muscles flexed, and then you crawl back after your leg workout because you're so worn out. At least I hope you're working out that hard. But here's what we have when we go further into the interior. The front seats, nice looking, power adjustable for the driver and the passenger. You're again going to have your red seat belt. I really like that. That's kind of high-end, almost exotic car-like. We need that in more vehicles. That's a good thing. But you can see Carrie moving the seat back there a little bit. And something else that I really like here. We recently did a video on a 2024 Range Rover SV P615, which is the top trim level of the Range Rover. And nowhere in the interior did you see the SV logo. Nowhere. This is what should have been there. Something along this line. The AT4 logo. But I like how it's not in the conventional space where you would normally see it either here on the seat back or in the headrest. I think that's really unique. A nice location, but these really look kind of off-roadish to me. Kind of that Baja look, if you will. AT4 logo down there, AT4X logo, all of our materials here. We're going to also have another AT4X logo there on the dash area. And we showed you this just a little bit earlier, but this is the kind of contrast that I think the back of these front seats should have for your rear seat passengers. We're going to let Carrie hop on in here and close the door so I can start the engine. The engine is kind of noisy with the door open, so we wanted to make sure that we waited to do that until he hopped inside. And again, you've got that red contrast surround on the air conditioning vents as well. So GMC really adding some really nice touches here. I like what they've done. I think it works really well. What about the glove box? Or we'll just call it a gloveless glove box, because once again, we don't find any gloves there. It's just a space box. Maybe that's what we should call it, a space box, when it doesn't have any kind of wheel locks or wheel lock keys or anything like that in there. Now, something that I am impressed with, well, first of all, let's show there's a little bit of space right here behind what I'm impressed with, which is your center screen. Everything is wireless here. You have your Google Assistant, so that means that you can say, hey, that. I'm not going to do it because not only will I set off devices in the truck, but also in the house, in your house potentially. You also have Alexa, and obviously you have your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right here. Those two are going to work together. Sometimes you hit the screen when you don't mean to, and that's what happened right there. But the thing that I think I'm impressed with the most, let's take a look here at our camera views. Now, there's a lot here that's not unusual with the cameras. And when you have those little dots right there, two of them, that means you have more than one view. So there we go. We have two views here. Well, I say we do. I guess we don't. There we go. Just took me a second to figure out how to get it there. Or maybe it's just slow. It is early in the morning, so I guess it's waking up for me. And there's another view right there. Now, the one thing that I think is really cool here, when I go into gear, watch this. Let's see if we can get it to come up. Come on. Not sure if it's going to come up for us or not. Here we go. So depending on what you want to see, you can see underneath the truck. Now, I like that. That's really cool. It's obviously a live view. You can see the front tires turning on that lower screen. We're looking at the rear on the upper screen. That's really cool depending on where you go. However, when you get to a certain point, if you're out on a really muddy trail or something like that, well, guess what? That's going to be covered in mud. It's a shame there isn't some kind of a way to keep that clean. But one way or another, that's what you have. It's cool as long as you can use it. Otherwise, you might go to the old school form of off-roading of just sticking your head out the window, or for those of you who are old enough, back in the early to even late 1980s when the monster truck drivers were doing that. Kind of crazy to think that they ever did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I promise if you look it up on YouTube, you'll be amazed at what you see. It's kind of scary in some ways. But overall, very interesting. Obviously, here's your trailering information, nothing unusual there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but you can also go into your settings right here and everything you expect to see. Well, it's all going to be here. We'll go through a few things here as far as what we have, as far as profiles and accounts, privacy, accessibility, all of that's going to be here. But obviously under vehicle, you have a few more things you can do. You can go to your audio settings, you can set up teen driver, you can turn on or off your rear seat reminder. I do recommend you leave your buckle to drive on when you're driving around on the road, but if you're driving around in a parking lot or wherever you are, maybe out on the trail somewhere or something like that where you don't really need a seat belt, it's okay to turn that off, but I do encourage you to use your seat belt when you're driving. And you can see what else is here. There's a lot going on here. Collision detection systems, you can go into your alert type, automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, lane change alert. It's all here because I know a lot of you ask about those safety features that these models have. So much here that I really can't cover every single little thing, but we'll take a look at what we do have. Let's see what comes up here. Now this is kind of getting into almost that Land Rover style of functionality, so you can see what's going on with the vehicle. In fact, here's what's interesting. So watch when I turn the front wheels. In fact, I want to show you something. Let Carrie show you where the steering wheel is right now. If you're not aware of what's going on, you might think that the front wheels are pointed straight. That's the point of seeing what's on the screen right there, so you know, oh, I need to turn the wheel one revolution so I'm pointed straight again, and you got your angle right there. It's going to tell you what's going on. And obviously you'll know if you're in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, so that's always a good thing. But I really like what's going on. We can also go here into terrain if we want to. Pretty neat to see what's going on there, just to show you some of the features and functionality. Again, I think GMC has done a very nice job with what they've done here. There's a lot going on. It's nice and high-end. Pretty cool, I must say. And then, here's the good news for you Louisiana folks, is that we have our heated seats and our ventilated seats. Let me turn that back down. So there's our ventilated seats, 3 different stages. Now I'm not going to leave that on for long, but those are your heated seats as well. You can see everything that's here besides that. Right now, we've got both sides synced together. You can turn that on or off if you want to. Something else that I think is just a little added value is the red around the controls right here on these knobs for controlling the air conditioning. Just something that's interesting.
Hello, Vehicle Visionary fans and YouTube watchers. I just wanted you to see this graphic. Carrie's Driving Lounge today. GMC Canyon edition. How do you like it? So, you're usually driving around in a Ford Raptor off-road, and you decided you want more luxury features in your midsize pickup truck life. This might be the vehicle for you, but you're not familiar with how the driving area looks. So you've come to Carrie's Driving Lounge to figure that out. So let's see what's going on here. We have right here on the right side of this steering wheel the engine start stop button. Let's turn this vehicle on. Let's see how we get it started up here. There we go. Okay, we have on the driver's side door here, door lock, unlock button. We have 2-seat memory. We have an ingress, egress button for your seat to get out of your way when you turn the vehicle off to get out. If you prefer your seat to move out of the way for you. You have your mirror controls right here. You have your window control, automatic on the driver door, not on the other doors. Let me move over to the dash for a second. There's a button right here that you push to let all the windows down at the same time. You cannot do that from the driver's side door. Here's your latch to open the door to get out of the vehicle. Down here you have the dimmer switch for your dashboard, and you have your trailer control, brake control right there. Down here you have the latch to open the hood. You have a dead pedal down there, which is a good thing. And you have your gas and your brake pedal right there. Your floor mat with your AT4 emblem on there. Below the steering wheel, here is your lever for your tilt telescope steering wheel. Not hard to work. Very nice steering wheel. This steering wheel feels really, really good in the hand. I mean, we've been in some really high-end luxury vehicles that don't have a steering wheel that feels this good in the hand. Multi-spoke, very sporty looking. We have on the stock on the left side, we have your wiper controls, your turn signals, left turn signal, right turn signal. They do work. Make sure you use them. On the back of this steering wheel, it's kind of hard to get back there and show you, but there are controls back there for the radio on both sides, for channel and volume on either side of the steering wheel. There is no right stock for this vehicle. On the left spoke of the steering wheel, you have your cruise control, activation, deactivation, and distance to the next vehicle control right there. There's a dead button right there. Not sure what would go there. There's the airbag area right here, GMC in red. Been in some vehicles that cost more money, more high end, that don't have as nice looking a steering wheel in the airbag area. There's your airbag button, airbag indicator. Heated steering wheel. There's your menu button for various things on the dashboard, your telephone activation, your voice control for the radio, and your music button and your favorites button. Very, very nice. On the dashboard, you have indicators for a lot of different things here. There's one there for seatbelt to tell you if the seatbelts are locked or unlocked. Passengers are on the left, driver is on the right, far away. So no seatbelts on right here. Nobody's in the vehicle but me. There's your trip deal that shows 7.4 miles driven since this vehicle has had gas in it, 2.8 miles per gallon. We haven't gone anywhere, so nothing high there. Trip 2, you have miles 117. On the gas, it shows your gas gauge indicator, your gas tank indicators on your driver's side, and it shows what we're in, 4-wheel high. There's your Prindle button, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low, and another fuel. It's a fuel gauge. Again, it shows which side the fuel door is on. So you have that redundant in 2 places right there. Your coolant temperature is on the right side, and your RPM gauge, it shows this vehicle can RPM up to 7,000 RPM. Let's see what we have if we start playing with some stuff. There we go right there. There's, I'm just gonna push some things and see what we have going on. I'm not familiar with all this, but we're gonna learn as we go. Push that button again. The menu changes to a compass, and it shows steering angle. It shows the transfer cases in 4-wheel high. We'll push the button again on the menu. See what else we get here. We have the cruise control, distance to the next vehicle, speedometer changes to the right, adjusts its position on the left side, and the RPM gauge, other things to the right side. We push it again, and it goes to, what does it go to? I can't tell what it goes to. Oh, heads-up display right there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a heads-up display. Very, very bright, at least from where I sit. I'm trying to see if I can get this show here. There it is right there. Heads-up display. Push the button again and see what we get. And we go back to the first screen. I guess you can push it and see which screen you like the best as you're driving it. There's the navigation screen. Everything else goes to the bottom when navigation comes on. And very, very nice vehicle. I think when Tom was showing you this center console, inside of that center console, there is a connection for a 12-volt, and there's your button for your electronic park brake and your, what do you call this here? The wireless charger. That's what it's called. The wireless charger has like a nice camouflage pattern on it. That same pattern is on the bottom of the cup holders also. And this vehicle, very, very nice. There's a knob here to control various features for the radio. On your radio, a lot of vehicles don't have that. We have up top here your roof button. Push that button, the roof goes back. and you push it the other way, the roof closes. The sunshade itself is manual. It goes back when the roof goes back, but you have to manually put it back in place. And you have your airbag indicator for if there's no passenger in the vehicle with you, and your light controls. These are not LED, they are incandescent. You can tell by the yellowing of the lights, kind of odd there given this day and age. The visor has a mirror in it. It does extend out, and it does cover most of the window, which is a good thing. It's odd to me how people make these vehicles and put those visors that extend out and they don't cover the entire window. It has an adjustment for your seatbelt right here. So if you're tall or short, the seatbelt won't cut into your neck, which is a good thing. It is, again, strange. Tom mentioned in the back seat, there's a grab handle right here on this front A-pillar to get into the vehicle, but that grab handle is not on the A-pillar of the front seats or the back seats anywhere, only in just that one spot, which is very strange, I think. But overall, if you're looking to get out of a Ford Ranger Raptor or one of those Honda pickup trucks and you want something with a little bit more luxury features in it, this is probably something you should come look at. It does have a step out when you get out of here because of that step right there. But you know, you can either step on it, but if you're like me and you tend to step around them, it does kind of get in the way a little bit, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. Otherwise, very nice vehicle. Thank you for joining me on Carrie's Driving Lounge again today. Like and subscribe, and if there's something else you want us to go look at that you want to see Driving Lounge on, let me know. See you next time.
Okay, we're out on the road for a quick test drive. The first thing I think a lot of people are going to ask about is, when you're not off-roading, is it going to feel like you're off-roading? Well, I think that's going to depend on the road you're on. We've driven over a few bumps in this truck so far, and it hasn't really been too bad, so it doesn't seem to have a bone-jarring ride quality as far as just driving down the road, although sometimes driving around in northwest Louisiana, sometimes you have bone-jarring experiences when you're in a plush Cadillac, because Louisiana just prides itself on having some of the worst roads you can drive on. I don't know why that is, but it's a good way to test your shocks and suspension if you're looking for that, a good place to do that. But a very enjoyable truck to drive. I definitely feel comfortable here for the most part. I do feel like I have a good bit of room over my head. I do feel a little cramped in the seat personally, but part of that is because I haven't really taken the time to really adjust this seat much. But I think if you adjust it correctly, you'll probably be a lot more comfortable. For a quick test drive, I'm not really too worried about it. I did lower the seat back, or bring the seat back just a little bit, recline it just a tick, and that does feel better. I don't feel quite as cramped. So obviously you can make adjustments for that. But this truck being what it is, it still has a nice tight turning radius. The seats themselves seem to be pretty comfortable. I'm not sure how that white material is going to hold up, depending on how dirty people's hands and clothes and all that stuff get, depending on what you're doing and where you are. So something to think about where that is concerned. But the other thing that I can definitely give high marks on is the fact that you have easy to use and easy to learn technology here. Not a big deal where that's concerned. It's easy to get to. Very easy to learn everything that you have here. I know for some people it looks like a lot where this truck is concerned. It looks like there's a load of technology, as many people will say, just more things to break. Once you get used to it and you learn it, which is not that big of a deal, especially with YouTube, you'll be glad you have it. You'll take more advantage of it than you could ever imagine. But that's the thing I like, is that it's easy to deal with overall. So let's get around here and get into the opposite lane where we need to be. And we'll let this Raptor turn in real quick. Overall, this truck is very nice to use, very practical as a daily driver. You know, for some people, I think are going to say it probably doesn't have a long enough bed, but for this class of truck, that's kind of how it goes. But I think overall, it's not a big deal, because you still have the versatility of a truck. You still have the capabilities that you need to do everything you need to do. You know, you can still haul some things around and just put something on the end of it, tie something on the end of it if you have something that's too big, back there and you won't have a problem. Overall, very versatile, that's for sure. And I know that's one of the main things a lot of people are looking for is versatility. That's definitely a great word. If you're going to use one single word to describe this truck, that's it, versatile.
Hey, Vehicle Visionary and YouTube watchers. Just finished the test drive on this vehicle, and I wanted to comment that as a passenger, I've got this seat set where I'm comfortable as a passenger. I had a seatbelt on, not now because we're stopped. But I did notice as Tom was driving and making his general turns that as a passenger, I had nothing to grab onto. There were times I needed to hold on, and there's no grab handle here. There's nothing to grab onto here. This is too far away. That's good for getting in and getting out. And there's no grab handle up here. The passengers in the back, they have grab handles up here that they can hold on to during spirited driving. But up here, I don't have that. The best I could do was to push my knees out on the sides and stabilize myself, but I have nothing to hold on to in the front, up here, or on the sides during spirited driving. So that was just a point I made to Tom that I just wanted to talk about. This is Kerry, who usually does Kerry's Driving Lounge. See you next time.
Okay, tell me what you think about the 2024 GMC Canyon AT4X. Is it the ultimate mid-size truck? It definitely has a lot of capabilities. Tell me what your thoughts are based on what we showed you as far as what's here and what's not. Curious to know what you think. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning us this truck for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. If you haven't subscribed just yet, please be sure to do so. That way you don't miss any future videos. Tell us what you want to see in future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out that video right there, and we'll see you there.